Well, don't you wish it was simple as that little cartoon? Just not do a few things and get a steady hand and a smooth life? Well, probably some of you are wondering why the chronological Bible is so difficult, and so I wanted to take a moment just to kind of review where we are. We have the life of the Jews going back 2,000 plus years. We have the beginning of the taking of the Promised Land going back 1,400 years before Christ. And we have the time of Judges around 1,300 to 1,000 years before Christ. And then we start the kings in the Promised Land. And as we look at that, we see we have three kings in a combined kingdom of the northern territory and the southern territory. And then it gets kind of confusing because we have a divided kingdom, Israel to the north and Judah to the south. Now, it's bad because we usually talk about the whole Promised Land being Israel, when in fact, during the time of study that we've been going through, we have an Israel and a Judah after Solomon dies. And during that time of approximately 1025 down to 928 is the three kings that succeeded there. Saul, David, and Solomon. And then we have 19 kings of Israel, the northern kingdom. And we have 20 kings in the south, that's Judah. Now, before we go on, before that, Israel had 19 kings after Solomon, all of them bad. And it covers almost 200 years. Then we had the kings in Judah. There's 20 of those. 12 were bad and only 8 were good. And the time period is about 930 BC down to 586 BC. So we have 42 kings and 13 prophets who wrote during the time of those kings. Let me say that again. 42 kings and 13 prophets who wrote during that time. And we have 9 prophets to the nation of Israel in 931 to 642 BC. And we have 12 prophets to Judah, 835 down to about 433 BC. You say, well, how's that possible? There weren't that many prophet or prophetic books. Well, some of the prophets are mentioned in books rather than having written books. So we have 19 prophetic books. But in order to study this time period of just 500 years, we have to read 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, 19 prophetic books, actually 20 if you count Lamentations, which was written by one of the prophets, and Psalms, Proverbs, Song of Solomon, Ecclesiastes, and Esther. That's 28 books in 500 years of history. That's why the chronological Bible is so difficult. You have 28 books that have to be considered during just 500 years of history. And a lot of the information overlaps, and we don't know exactly what prophet fit into exactly what date history it was written. It really gets quite confusing, and that's why a chronological Bible is so very difficult, but so important for us to understand that all of this is happening in a 500-year time frame. In just 500 years. It's basically 7 generations. In just 7 generations, we have 28 books of the Bible. So don't get too frustrated when you start trying to study from the chronological Bible. And don't get too confused thinking that all of these different 28 books are in chronological order, because they are not. They're intermixed within this 500 years. What do we learn from this? God is supreme. He's sovereign. He takes and he records all of this information for us. 28 books worth of information, 19 prophets, and all of those kings. We have 19 in Israel, 20 in Judah, plus the 3 before the divided kingdom. So we have 42 kings to look at, to examine their ministry and their lives. Now, what really struck out to me as I was doing this little breakdown of this time frame of 500 years is that when I looked at the good kings, I found that most of the good kings lived a pretty good long time. They were kings for quite a long time. The shortest kingdom of a good king was 18 years, and the longest was 52 years. With an average probably, and I didn't average it out with a calculator, with an average probably close to 35 or 36 years per king that were good. And they were all down in Judah. Well, we can learn a lot from the Bible, not just history, but how history repeats itself. I remember we talked about the O, I, and A way of studying the Bible: observation, interpretation, and application. There are so many things that we can observe, so many things where the interpretation is not very controversial, and the application is quite clear to our lives. And that's my thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.